All right. So, Baggedmilk from Oilers Nation is in the room with us, and we want to deal with a rumor.
The rumor mill. It's active.
Okay.
You can't ignore it forever. Yeah, she's churning right now.
When the team is 2-5-1, the city gets greasy. Do you know what I mean?
You find something else to focus on other than the fact that we can't score more than one goal and we haven't had a lead since we played the Canucks.
That's the real problem here. Instead, we can't score more than one goal, and then everybody's talking about who punched who, and then there's these salacious rumors about what happened where, and it's just crazy, man.
Okay, so the rumor is Leon Draisaitl slept with someone's sister or girlfriend and then got beat up.
Got a punch to the face. That's why he had a black eye, swollen eye, and concussion symptoms.
Okay.
That's the rumor that's out there.
And the rumor is it was Nurse that popped him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if there's any validity to this, does that impact the locker? Like, I can see a young team having trouble dealing with that.
Well, first of all, I've heard, last night Locke texted me about this. He said, hey, can we talk about this in the morning? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So
I didn't want to have a conversation you didn't want to have. You know what I mean? If there is absolutely zero validity to this and it is a complete farce, then I don't want you to have to hash it out on the air with us, right?
No, the funny thing was, so as soon as you texted me last night, I started digging in my DMs, the nation's DMs, on Facebook, through the comments on the website. I heard at least 5 flavors of that story.
Just different variations.
Just different variations with different locations, different teammates, different guys. It was a guy at a bar. It was a dude in the street. It was a guy at the mall. There were so many flavors, and it was always from a guy who knew a guy. My favorite one was from a guy in my DMs just a couple days ago. He's like, hey, listen, I have a buddy in accounting, and he heard this. So I write back to him like, oh, he works for the Oilers in accounting? He's like, no, he's just an accountant. I was like,
that means he's, all right, well, he's responsible.
Okay, so this is where it's got to now, is I know a guy who knows a guy who maybe knows something about nothing. Do I buy the rumors? Not really. I mean, if somebody slept with somebody's sister or girlfriend and then they got in a scrap, to me, that's what happens when you're 20 and maybe you're losing and you're angry and you're add a little boost to the mix. Listen, I've gotten in fist fights with some of my buddies.
Yeah.
You get over it. Yeah. Is that contributing to what's going on right now on the ice? No. What's going on the ice is they can't score. Last night they played a good game. If you watched
they played a very good game.
They played a really good game, but man, the snake bite and the voodoo that's hanging over that team's scores right now is crazy.
Well, that's why I was asking. Sorry to interrupt, but that's why I was asking. Let's say that there is some truth to this story. And come on, if there's 5 different versions of it, maybe at some point it'll come out that something happened, right? I mean, it takes 10, 15 years for us to hear about, think about all the stories we hear about the heydays of the 80s and all the crap that, the Gretzky gang did, right? I mean, it took a long time for that stuff to come out, even though there was probably rumors and whispers all through the city back in the day, right? I mean, there might be something to this. But if there is, let's say we don't know all the details. We don't know if it was a house party, a bar. We don't even know who punched him or if that ever even got pushed or got hit with a frying pan. Who cares what the details are? Let's say it did happen and there's a girlfriend involved. Does that get into the heads of these players and screw them up a little bit?
I mean, maybe. I'm going to go on record right now and say I don't personally buy the rumors. I think it's all a little bit, lame. I mean, if the Oilers were winning right now, nobody would care about any of this, whether Draisaitl had a black eye or not. But to answer your question, would it affect the team? Sure. I mean, these guys are in their young.
I think it would.
They're in their early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
They're charged up. You don't make the NHL by winning a scratch ticket. So they're all generally alphas in personality. Yep. They want to win. They're pissed off. And, they have maybe add a couple of beers in the mix. I could see somebody getting into a skirmish. Will that affect the dressing room? Sure. I guess all we can really do to really answer your question is see if there's a trade that doesn't make sense that's coming down sooner than later.
That's usually how you tell if there's somebody's getting shipped out of town.
Exactly, because you know who it's not going to be? It's not going to be the guy who just signed a $68 million contract last summer. No.
Well, that's just it. But then again, let's say it does involve Nurse. I wouldn't get rid of that kid either. I think that's why locker rooms always do well when you've got a veteran in, right? Mm-hmm. When you've got a Lucic, when you got somebody who's been doing this a long time, who's seen, some crap and can pull, because McDavid's not going to do. He's too nice of a kid, right?
Right now, I think.
Like right now he is. He's not going to be stepping up and pulling those two aside and going, all right, okay, boys, let's have a quick conversation here. We need to sort this out because we all have to be on the same page. So that's why I think those guys end up hanging on to those roles. Like, that's why I think we end up paying for a guy like Lucic in the hopes that he does come and is some common sense when the kids get out of hand. I remember my 20s. Hell, I'm still an idiot, and I'm in my 40s.
Yeah, that'll never change. 50s. But.
Anyway.
To me, I just think that, you know what, put the rumor mill aside. If there was a fight between two teammates, this happens. How many times do we see it in training camp and preseason or whatever where there's cameras on the ice and two teammates go at it in practice? Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you punch a guy, you have a beer, and you get over it.
There's very few days where I don't want to punch Jimmy.
True. Yeah.
Make your first one a drop kick, Jimmy. Come back at him.
The thing is, you know that he knows karate, and
and I'd be in trouble. Although I have planned, I've actually dreamed about how I would, punch or get into a fight with Jimmy.
At our Christmas party last year, I might have kicked him square in the chest and sent him flying. He deserved it.
I've been dreaming how to hurt you guys too, by the way.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
There's potential weapons in this studio, boys.
Yes, there is. There's a lot of weapons in
Who
here.
do the Oilers play next? They got a homestand now?
They got Dallas coming up.
All right. How are they going to go on the homestand?
Capitals on Saturday.
Yeah, they got some tough games coming up. I think McClellan's going to put Draisaitl back with McDavid. They need a little bit of scoring, as we all know. And the best way to do it is to load them up.
Yeah,
load up those first two lines.
McDavid and Draisaitl look good last night.
So good. That's why, when they're struggling right now, do not separate them. You need goals.
Yeah, I agree. What about Maroon on that wing though? Like, is there somebody else you put in there with Draisaitl and McDavid?
I think Maroon. Maroon
Cassian?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see Cassian maybe get a bump in the lineup. Last night he was on the fourth line, didn't get many minutes, but he's also having some. He's not having great luck. I mean, none of the guys are having great luck.
The bounces aren't going their way.
They're going to be moving puzzle pieces around until something fits. Yeah. I think Maroon naturally knows how to play with Connor. He knows where to be, and that's a skill in itself. So I think that'll work itself out. Put Draisaitl there against the Stars. Try to load up. Put Yamamoto maybe with Nuge, or maybe put Draisaitl with Nuge and leave Yamamoto where he's at. Load up those first two lines. Get some goals. That's what they need. Goals.
Baggedmilk, Oilers Nation, thank you for the visit.
My pleasure as always. Talk to you guys next week.
You're in the locker room.